Just over a week ago, I ran a poll here on my community page asking about 4 2024 releases that I was actually interested in watching, and they were Cold Meat, Double Blind, Baghead, and Lord of Misrule. And the winner, by a considerable margin, was Baghead, which is the movie that I am watching today, which out of the 4 options is the paranormal option on the list. Thank you to everybody that actually took the time to go and vote in my poll, and I will be talking about Cold Meat next Monday as well, because my plan was always going to be to review the top 2 winners. But if you don't know anything about Baghead from 2023/2024, let me quickly fill you in. Iris inherits a rundown pub and discovers a dark secret within its basement. Baghead, a shape-shifting creature that lets one speak to a lost loved one but not without consequences. She soon discovers breaking the 2-minute rule can have terrifying consequences, and together with best friend Kate, Iris must battle to keep control of Baghead and figure out how to destroy her before she destroys them. If you're new here, I go by Hordes and I talk about all things horror here on my channel on Mondays and Fridays, but as always when it comes to watching brand new movies that I've never seen before, I am now going to go and watch Baghead from 2023/2024 off camera. So that way, if you too decide that you want to watch this movie, nothing will be spoiled for you, because nobody wants to watch a movie you've just watched somebody else watch from start to finish. And I am trying so hard to call this movie Baghead, because where I am from in the north of England, if you call somebody a baghead, it means it's an insult. It means that they're thick. So it is so hard for me not to call this movie Baghead.
Lead us on.
We have a winner on Hordes' Pet Peeve Bingo. The audio is not leveled properly in this movie, and it is so obvious when it comes to the dialogue, because you will have a character in the same scene where they will go from whispering volume to like talk shouting, and it's even worse when there are 2 characters in the same scene. Like, the music is absolutely fine, but it's one of those movies where I'm gonna have to say to you, get your TV remote in hand, because you're gonna need it quite a lot when watching this one.
You're very welcome.
This movie is what happens when people who are solely motivated by money and financial gain think that they can exploit people. Like, that is the starting point for Baghead. Like, have you ever met somebody who likes to say, oh, my life is really hard, when it isn't? They just don't like being an adult. That is Iris in this movie. She is so whiny for the entire movie, which instantly makes me not like her. They have one rule for the shapeshifter in the basement, and that is 2 minutes on the timer. Do not go past that time limit, and every single person in this movie ignores that rule. This is the girl who would feed a mogwai from Gremlins or give them a bath. Like, that is how irresponsible this girl is. I hate her. She's so irritating.
Mogwai, not for sale.
Katie, as a friend, deserves more and better than Iris in this movie. Katie is the redeeming thing in this movie for me, because every time you see her on screen, her plot is used to actually progress the story, and it's her that is looking into the history of the pub and why all of these landlords have just like offed themselves because curse, and into the history of the shapeshifter that is Baghead in the basement. Iris feels sorry for herself and gets drunk in the pub all day, and occasionally is like, oh, let's exploit this man Neil for some more money. And oh boy, do I hate Neil. Neil. Like, tell me that you have mummy issues without explicitly telling me that you have mum issues. Like, we all have somebody that is no longer with us that if we could speak to them one more time, we would jump at the chance to do so. But Neil is the sort of person that would kill your kids on Christmas without batting an eyelid, because that's how much of an asshole he is. He is so entitled, and what he does in this movie, put the whole man in the bin.
Dumpster's here, it's here!
The CGI unfortunately, is a choice in this movie. And it is particularly obvious when it comes to Baghead the shapeshifter. I love that she just eats random things to turn into people, by the way. Like, at one point she eats a set of headphones, she eats a mobile phone, she eats a ring. She doesn't care, just lifts her bag up and swallows whatever you want. So that, I like that as a concept. But the whole, like, when you see her transform without the bag on her head, it's not great. And I can understand why they've had to do this via CGI, because really for financial reasons more than anything, as well as time, you can't really have an actor ripping off prosthetics for multiple takes, because that again is going to be incredibly costly and incredibly timely, because you're going to need somebody to reapply that constantly between takes. But the CGI isn't great. Like, the budget didn't go to the CGI. I'd like to think the budget went to the sets, because the pub basement and the first floor of the pub that you actually get to see, love that. The rest of the locations you only spend like very brief moments in, so I can't tell you about that, but I like the main bits. I wouldn't say that Baghead is a scary movie in the slightest, but it's got the creep factor there when it is prepared to push just that little bit further. But unfortunately, as a whole, the movie isn't prepared to push that little bit further, and unfortunately relies on gimmicks and bad visual effects. And I hate that, because the concept of this movie is great, and it started off actually as a short movie. If you get the opportunity, you can actually find the short movie online. This just feels like a really padded out version of that short movie, and it kind of sucks. I did a little bit of, browsing through the internet, like I always do once I've watched a movie, just to see what everybody else thinks of them. Doesn't affect my rating in any way. I just like to see where I compare to what other people think. And there are so many people saying that this movie is like a knockoff version of Talk to Me from 2023, and I haven't seen Talk to Me yet. It's one of those movies where I meant to get to it last year, but I never got around to it. So I can't actually say either way if this is really like a knockoff version of Talk to Me, but I thought it was still worth mentioning, because Talk to Me was on so many people's top horror movie lists of 2023. So I am probably going to end up rating this movie slightly higher, because obviously I haven't seen what it's being compared to.
I'm trying.
In the end, I am going to give Baghead from 2023/2024. It's 2024 it was released in, but you Google it and it says 2023. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 stars, because while the concept on paper sounds great, the execution just, it isn't there. Like, cinematography wise, it looks really good, but it's let down by the audio, by the special effects, there's plot holes in it, there's pacing issues at times. It feels like a much longer movie than it actually is. And the main thing that I am going to take away from this movie, and I am going to quote my boy John Kramer from Saw, is you have to follow the rules. And in this movie, there is one rule, and these people never listen to the one rule, which is do not talk to the shape-shifting Baghead woman in the basement for more than 2 minutes, and then they question why the hell everything is going wrong.
Just remember the rules.
Or to quote something else that I really like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That is this movie summed up. So there you have it, my initial thoughts and my review for my first time watching Baghead from 2023/2024. I'm saying it's 2024, goddammit, because that is when it came out. Don't lie to me, Google and IMDb. If you've also seen this movie, I would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are down in the comments section down below. Are you going to watch this movie? Are you going to give this one a miss? If you want to know every single movie that I watch, not just the ones I talk about here on YouTube, you can also find me over on Instagram and Letterboxd at HordesOfHorror, and I will be back on Friday with a movie from 2024 that just fell into my lap. And the casting is so perfect for me that it is like I handpicked a movie and paired it with a genre that I also love. So I will see you on Friday. So until next time, bye.